Imagine this scenario. You've been in a relationship with someone who always seems to make everything about them. The spotlight is never on you, but always on them. Their needs, their desires, their stories. It's as if your own existence is just a backdrop for the grand play of their life. This person might be a friend, a partner, or even a family member. But the moment comes when you can't take it anymore. You've had enough. You walk away. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. What happens when a narcissist loses you? The answer is far more complex, and perhaps surprising, than you might expect. Narcissists are masters of illusion, painting themselves as the hero of every story, the center of every universe. When they lose someone, it shatters their carefully constructed world. Their response? It's not what you'd imagine. You won't believe what happens when a narcissist loses someone who once served as a key player in their self-serving narrative. Stick with me, because what unfolds next might just open your eyes to how deeply narcissists depend on the people around them to maintain their fragile egos. And once that source of validation is gone, chaos ensues. Before we dive into the intricacies of this situation, I invite you to join our growing community. If you're enjoying this content and want to learn more about human behavior, relationships, and mental health, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others. Now, let's start unraveling the emotional aftermath a narcissist faces when they lose someone they never thought they'd have to live without. So, why is this topic so fascinating? Because on the surface, narcissists seem to have an almost unbreakable sense of confidence. They walk with their heads held high, talk as if they know everything, and exude an air of superiority. But underneath all of that bravado is a profound insecurity that they go to great lengths to hide. The truth is, a narcissist's self-esteem is paper thin. It's built entirely on external validation, meaning they rely on others to constantly feed their egos. You, as someone who was once close to them, played a pivotal role in sustaining their sense of self-worth. When a narcissist loses someone, it creates a void in their life. And not just any void, a deep, gaping wound that forces them to confront the emptiness they've been trying to avoid all along. You see, a narcissist can't stand being alone. They can't handle the thought that they might not be the center of someone else's universe anymore. So, what happens when you remove yourself from their life? It sets off a chain reaction of emotional turmoil, one that the narcissist is often ill-equipped to handle. The first thing that usually happens is denial. Narcissists are experts at deluding themselves into believing that they are never wrong, that they are always in control. So when you walk away, they might refuse to accept it. They might tell themselves that you'll come back, that you didn't really mean it, or that you were just going through a phase. This denial serves as a temporary buffer for their fragile ego, preventing them from having to face the harsh reality that they've lost someone important. But this stage doesn't last forever. Eventually, the narcissist will have to confront the truth. You're really gone. And that's when things get messy. The loss of a key person in their life triggers a cascade of emotions: anger, frustration, and most notably, a sense of helplessness. Narcissists hate feeling powerless. They are used to controlling the narrative, dictating how others perceive them, and manipulating situations to their advantage. But when you walk away, they lose that control, and it terrifies them. At this point, the narcissist will likely try to win you back. Not because they truly care about you or have had a sudden change of heart, but because they need you to fulfill their emotional needs. They might shower you with affection, make grand promises, or play the victim in an attempt to tug at your heartstrings. This is known as love bombing, and it's a tactic narcissists use to lure people back into their orbit. But beware, once you're back, things will almost certainly return to how they were before. If their attempts to win you back fail, narcissists often resort to more manipulative tactics. They might try to smear your reputation, turning mutual friends or family members against you. They'll spread lies, exaggerate your faults, and make themselves out to be the victim in order to preserve their image. Remember, narcissists are deeply concerned with how they are perceived by others. If they can't win you back, they'll at least try to control the narrative surrounding your departure. What's especially interesting is how quickly the narcissist can shift from being obsessed with you to acting as if you never mattered. This is called devaluation, and it's a hallmark of narcissistic relationships. Once they realize they can't get you back, they'll start to downplay your importance in their life. They might claim they never really cared about you in the first place, or that you were the one with the problem. This is a defense mechanism designed to protect their ego from the pain of rejection. But make no mistake, beneath the surface, the narcissist is hurting. Despite their outward indifference, losing someone they once had control over is a significant blow to their self-esteem. Narcissists don't handle rejection well, because it forces them to confront the fact that they are not as perfect or desirable as they want to believe. And that's a truth they'll go to great lengths to avoid. You might think that walking away from a narcissist means you've freed yourself from their grasp. And to some extent, that's true. But it's important to be aware that narcissists often don't let go easily. Even after you've cut ties, they may continue to try to exert control over you, whether through direct contact, social media, or mutual acquaintances. They'll want to keep tabs on you, to see if you're happy without them, and to find any opportunity to reinsert themselves into your life. So, what should you do if you've broken free from a narcissist? The most important thing is to maintain firm boundaries. Narcissists are skilled at worming their way back into people's lives, so you'll need to be vigilant in keeping them at arm's length. That might mean blocking them on social media, cutting off contact with mutual friends, or even seeking professional support to help you navigate the emotional fallout of the relationship. One of the most liberating feelings is realizing that you no longer have to live in someone else's shadow. When you leave a narcissist, you're reclaiming your sense of self-worth, your independence, and your right to be the main character in your own life. It's a powerful, transformative experience, and one that the narcissist will never understand. Because for them, life is a constant quest for validation, approval, and attention. Without it, they feel lost. But here's the thing. When you walk away from a narcissist, you're giving them a gift they'll never appreciate. You're forcing them to confront their own inadequacies, to grapple with the emptiness inside them that they've been trying to fill with the adoration and attention of others. Whether they ever come to terms with that reality is another question entirely. Some narcissists may never change, remaining stuck in a cycle of manipulation and self-delusion. But for you, walking away represents a new beginning. A chance to build a life free from the toxic influence of someone who could never truly appreciate you for who you are. Now that we've explored what happens when a narcissist loses someone, I hope you have a better understanding of the complex emotions and behaviors that narcissists exhibit in the wake of a breakup or separation. Their initial bravado may mask deeper insecurities, but make no mistake, losing you is a significant blow to their ego, one that they'll go to great lengths to downplay and deny. But remember, you're not responsible for their emotional well-being. You deserve to be in a relationship where your needs and feelings are valued, not overshadowed by someone else's need for constant validation. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the mind of a narcissist. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us continue to create content that empowers and informs. Take care, and remember, your worth is not defined by how others see you, but by how you see yourself.
Hey, people who support empowering yourself. You may be wondering what narcissists do when you finally get away from them. It's not just about returning your power when you break up with a narcissist. It's also about realizing how it will affect them. Leave a comment below if you've ever taken steps to get your life back from bad situations. Let's inspire each other. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon. We're going to talk about the mental, emotional, and physical effects on a narcissist when you shut yourself off from their life today. There is more to this path than just your own healing. It has to do with figuring out how things work and how narcissists react when they lose their source of approval. Stay tuned as we talk about these lessons and how walking away can change your life. Share, like, and encourage each other as we work to get our power and freedom back. 1. Knowing how ego reinforcement works. To understand what happens when you break up with someone who is focused on themselves, you need to understand the idea of ego reward. Ego reinforcement means giving egocentric people constant praise, respect, and attention in order to keep up their inflated sense of self-worth and fragile sense of importance. The people in their group give them this support, and they manipulate and influence others to make sure they get a steady flow of attention and admiration. When someone who gives ego-boosting sources, like a love partner, close friend or family member, leaves, it can be very upsetting for the egocentric person. 2. The first response of the self-centered person. A. Surprise and decline. When you leave an egocentric person for the first time, they usually respond with surprise and denial. People who are egocentric have an inflated sense of how important they are and think they are necessary. People can't understand why someone would leave them, which can lead to a state of denial. They might not want to believe that the relationship is over and act like nothing has changed, trying to keep things the same. B. Outburst and fury. These people often lose it when they have to face reality and react with rants and anger. They are reacting this way because they can't change the situation and they are very afraid of being left alone. The egocentric person's anger can show up in many ways, such as verbal attacks, threats, or attempts to hurt your image. This stage is marked by the egocentric person's desperate efforts to regain control and dominance. C. Tries to get involved again. People who are focused on themselves use re-engagement to get their victims back into the relationship. This could be done through manipulation, claims to change, or even acting like you're weak when you're not. The egocentric person may send you a lot of texts, call you a lot, or show up at your house without warning to try to get you to fall back into their cycle of manipulation. People re-engage because they want to find a source of encouragement and feel in charge again. 3. The effects on a person's mind and feelings when they are self-centered. Erster Ego-Schock. When a main source of ego support leaves, it can cause a deep ego shock. This word refers to the intense emotional pain and sensitivity that egocentric people feel when their self-image and sense of self-worth are threatened. The shock can make people feel ashamed, inadequate, and deeply uneasy. For someone who is egotistical, this shock is often too much to handle, and they act defensively to protect their low self-esteem. B. Need for alternative reinforcement right away. When egocentric people experience an ego shock, they immediately look for other sources of support. To fill the void left by your departure, they may quickly move on to a new relationship, friendship, or business connection. This sense of urgency can make the egocentric person act in dangerous and rash ways as they try to regain their sense of importance and power. But new links might not give the same amount of validation, which can cause a cycle of discontent and more instability. C. Sadness and grief. People who are egocentric are often seen as sure of themselves and confident, but when their support is taken away, they can have big psychological problems. When an egocentric person loses a key source of reinforcement, they may feel hopeless and scared as they deal with feelings of not being good enough and being ignored. Psychological problems like these are often made worse by the egotistical person's unwillingness to get help or admit they are weak. 4. What happens in real life for an egocentric person? A. Being alone. One of the practical effects of your leaving is that the egocentric person may gradually become alone. As people notice how controlling and manipulative they are, they may find it harder to keep relationships going. People they know and family members may pull away, leaving the selfish person without a reliable support system. Isolation can make their mental problems worse and make them need other sources of support even more. B. Setbacks in your job. People who are egocentric often use their charm and ability to manipulate others to move up in their careers and keep business relationships going. On the other hand, when things go wrong in their personal life, it can affect their work. The selfish person may act erratically, which could cause problems with co-workers, subordinates, or bosses. This could hurt their work by getting them fired or hurting their reputation in their field. C. Problems with the law and money. Sometimes, breaking up with a selfish person can lead to legal and financial problems. If the relationship included shared money, assets, or business interests, the egocentric person might get angry and try to make the separation process harder or impossible. There may be legal conflicts, which can put a strain on both parties' finances and cause long-lasting stress. 5. Effects on the egoistic person over time. A. Unpredictability that doesn't go away. If an egoistic person doesn't have a solid source of ego reinforcement, their personal and professional life may become unpredictable over time. If they can't make strong, long-lasting bonds, it can lead to a cycle of short-lived friendships and ongoing conflict. This lack of dependability makes their mental and emotional fights worse, creating a cycle of unhappiness and unrest. B. Falling position in society. Egoistic people may lose their social standing over time because of the way they act. As their sneaky moves become more clear to people around them, they might lose the respect and admiration they once had. The drop in their social status can be very hard on their ego and make them feel even more inadequate and unsafe. C. Disagreement with change. When someone is egoistic, they don't want to admit their flaws or work on changing, which is one of the saddest things about it. Their strong need for approval and control often keeps them from reflecting on their problems or getting professional help. Because of this, they can't break out of their harmful patterns and are stuck in a cycle of manipulation and mental turmoil. 6. Your journey of healing and strengthening. It's important to focus on your journey of healing and strength, even though the egoistic person will face big problems after you leave. As you move forward, here are some things to think about. A. Make self-care a priority. When getting over a selfish relationship, it's important to put yourself first. This includes taking care of your body by eating well, working out, and getting enough sleep, taking care of your emotions by going to therapy, writing in a journal and practicing mindfulness, and caring for your social life by spending time with friends and family who are there for you. B. Give yourself limits. Setting and sticking to limits is a key part of protecting yourself from more manipulation. To do this, you need to stop talking to the egoistic person and be firm in your choice to leave. Setting limits helps protect your independence and keeps the self-centered person from coming back into your life. C. Get help from professionals. Working together with a therapist who knows how to help people recover from egotistical abuse can be very helpful. Therapy can help you process your experiences, rebuild your sense of self-worth, and come up with strong ways to deal with problems. D. Get in touch with your uniqueness. Having relationships based on egotism can make you feel less like yourself. Spend some time getting back in touch with your interests, values, and goals. Do the things that make you happy and satisfied, and surround yourself with people who value and respect you. E. Learn new things. Continuing to learn about selfish behavior and its effects gives you the power to spot warning signs and keep yourself safe in the future. Being aware is a powerful tool that can stop further abuse and trickery. F. Join networks of support. Making connections with other people who have been abused by egotists can help you feel better. Support groups, both online and off, can be very helpful because they bring people together and help them understand what they're going through. Thanks for visiting us today as we talked about what happens after you leave a narcissist's control. Cutting ties with a narcissist is a brave and life-changing step forward the road. The narcissist may be having problems on the inside after losing their main source of approval, but you need to focus on your own path to healing and strength. It's important to take advantage of the chance to rediscover your real self, set clear boundaries, and build a life full of supportive relationships, self-respect, and emotional strength. Remember that you deserve to live a happy life without being abused or manipulated. It's possible to find happiness and fulfillment in life if you give yourself time, help, and care. If you thought this video was helpful, please show your support by liking it and sharing it with others who might also benefit. You can also subscribe to our channel to get more tools and support on your path to healing and empowerment. We can get past the dark side of narcissistic abuse and into a better, more satisfying future if we all work together. Have a great day and remember to stay strong. We'll see you in our next